Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Electric bills are up. Thing is, heat is only part of the problem. One expert says that there are 3 other reasons, and you're going to hear them coming up. But first, tonight we begin with several breaking stories tonight. The first one involves a fire. You see here Sky 12 over the scene tonight. This is on West South Cross and Purian Avenue.
Yeah, it's on the southwest side of town. Firefighters at a mechanics shop in that area. The night team's John Paul Barajas also there. John Paul, firefighters at an auto shop. That's concerning in and of itself when you're talking about a fire and all the things that are flammable there. But we're hearing that fire may have actually started somewhere else. Is that what you're hearing?
Steve, Stephanie, that's absolutely correct. I want to take a closer look right behind me where all this smoke is coming from this pile of rubble. It's hard to believe that that was actually once a 2-story home. Firefighters believe it was abandoned, and then it spread to the auto mechanic shop right next door to it. Now, silver lining is that as of right now, there have been no reported injuries to people or any firefighters. As you mentioned, lots of concern with that mechanic shop and what's inside of it. But right now, their public information officer says the air quality and everything is good. Now, as for the response here, I want to kind of show you over my right shoulder. There's firefighters all around the block, and down that street probably goes nearly half a mile. There's 80 or more firefighters here because of the winds and the heat conditions that we've experienced throughout the earlier part of the day. Now, we're told they're going to be here for the majority of the night, making sure all these hot spots are taken care of. They have told us that embers have spread to neighboring homes within the block. Luckily, they've landed in their yards, and they've been able to contain it there, so no other homes have been damaged. So, again, silver lining, firefighters, residents, everybody is safe as of right now. 2 structures are completely lost. 2-story home burned down to the ground. Some of these vehicles at the mechanic shop were told that had fire on them, even the ones in the front. So lots of damage, still trying to get estimates on how much all of that's going to cost. Again, they say that this home they believed was abandoned. Residents we spoke to said probably for 10, 15 years. So still trying to get the exact cause of how that initially started. Crews are going to be out here all night, making sure hotspots are out. And again, they are going to be on fire watch, making sure nothing sparks back up. We'll bring you any update we can as soon as we can. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Just so dry out there as well, John Paul.
Yeah, and the wind gusts, Adam was just saying they're 25 miles an hour, so that's a lot. You can understand how that fire spread so quickly, and they're still putting out hot spots right there where John Paul was.
That's why firefighters are still out there. Let's go to some more breaking new developments, though. This involves the Uvalde shooting investigation and a principal. Just one day after publicly defending her response to the day of the shooting, Mandy Gutierrez will return to work.
So she's the principal for Robb Elementary. The district placed her on paid leave earlier this week, and now the district says that they reached a mutual agreement and will allow her to return to the district in, quote, an administrative capacity, end quote.
It wasn't clear if she would actually return as a principal, but Gutierrez's lawyer released his own statement saying Mandy Gutierrez is, quote, fully reinstated to her position, end quote. Just yesterday, she defended herself, saying she did not use the PA system the day of the shooting because she was trained it would cause more panic and harm. You saw part of her interview on the Nightbeat last night. She also says she sent an alert through the Raptor app to teachers' phones instead of using the PA. Gutierrez also insisted the lock on the door to classroom 111 worked, though it may have needed more force used to engage the lock. All this is playing out as the district's police chief, Pete Arredondo, still remains on leave.
Now to a problem that you, your neighbors, and pretty much all of Texas is dealing with: high energy bills.
Boy, are we. For some customers, their bills have more than doubled. The Night Team's Patty Santos talks to an energy expert who says there are 3 reasons that our bills are going up as high as they are.
This is someone's grocery budget, being taken out in a given month.
Wow.
Yeah.
$354. That's the price tag on Pablo Calvas's latest energy bill. And he says that has more than doubled in a few months.
We're pretty mindful of our energy usage. We raised our temperature to 78 on average on a thermostat, and even that doesn't seem to help.
Calvo represents Texans across the city and the state feeling the pinch of increasing energy prices.
We've had to make adjustments.
My own bill is almost double what it was this time last year.
Ed Hurst, an energy fellow at the University of Houston, says there's a few reasons Texans are paying more to stay cool this summer. One, the cost of natural gas used to produce power is over $8 per 1,000 cubic feet, compared to $4 last year. Two, on the electric side, we're paying ERCOT, the state's energy producer, higher prices due to the freeze of 2021.
CPS, for example, has to go out and buy electricity from the ERCOT market, and it's just become much more volatile this summer.
Three, the war in Europe.
As long as the conflict in Europe continues, we will see higher domestic prices.
In a tweet, CPS Energy says combine all that with record-breaking heat in May and June, and you have another contributor to higher bills. Hurst says the reality is only you can save yourself.
The first and best thing a consumer can do is to conserve. The kilowatt hour that's not used is one that you don't have to pay for. The gallon of gasoline, the gallon of diesel that you don't use is one that you don't have to pay for.
And Hurst tells us there is currently no Texas legislative action that could help our energy grid make self-improvements or investments that could help lower our bills now or in the future. And we have also reached out to CPS Energy to find out what these challenges mean and how they're handling them here at home. We'll let you know what they say. Steve, Stefania.
Thank you, Patty. Now let's go to a migrant center that's certainly become a center of attention. A lot of people turned out for tonight's public forum on San Antonio's Migrant Service Center. A packed house at Blessed Sacrament Church where city officials met with neighbors about their questions and concerns. The Migrant Service Center opened in the old CPS building earlier this month. It helps offer resources to asylum seekers legally traveling through San Antonio. Several changes have been made to its operation since it opened. You can read more about that right now at KSAT.com. Daily, thousands of migrants cross the Rio Grande and turn themselves into Border Patrol. There are also some who try to hide from law enforcement.
Now, some smuggling cases are discovered about 80 miles north of the border in Brooks County. Our Alicia Barrera and photojournalist Sal Salazar traveled there to see what deputies are experiencing.
5 deputies help patrol the nearly 1,000 square miles that make up Brooks County.
One night and then one day shift. That's it, just one deputy at a time.
Lincoln 150.
Deputy Sam Rosas is on the lookout for suspicious vehicles.
North of the checkpoint, that's where they pick up. That's where it gets more complicated. It's a lot harder to find the vehicles that are coming from northern states.
So far this year, Brooks County reports 170 drivers charged for smuggling migrants.
They can load up 10 to 15 bodies in less than 15-30 seconds. It doesn't take that long.
While deputies look for smugglers, scouts are on the lookout for them.
This is why we need more deputies on patrol.
Scouts help alert the smugglers that deputies are present, and they aren't the only thing working against law enforcement.
It's a rural area, so once the sun set, it gets really quiet out here and really dark to the point that sometimes it's even hard to see your hand in front of your face. But that's exactly the time that deputies say traffic starts to pick up.
It's gonna load up right here.
Deputy Rosas frequently stops at areas identified as hotspots.
Seeing them move around in the brush or see the vehicles that drop off or load up.
But tonight, he gets a call from state troopers. They stopped a suspicious vehicle driving on the shoulder of the road, and the passengers are all providing inconsistent information.
Suspicions drew when I guess the passengers didn't make eye contact. We both concluded that there was 2 illegals in the back of the vehicle.
Border Patrol was called to transport the 2 undocumented immigrants, and the driver could be charged by the state.
You got your driver's license and insurance?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Deputy Rosas continues his hunt for the next bust.
All right, drive safe. Have a good night. No, it never stops.
Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Now to a murder mystery that has baffled investigators and the victim's family. So last week, we told you that a woman's body was found outside an abandoned home. Today, we learned the victim is 19-year-old Gloria Martinez. Police say that she was stabbed, then wrapped in blankets and stuffed into a bin outside that empty home on San Luis Street. There's a memorial there right now. It continues to grow. In the meantime, her family members are trying to pay for the funeral while also dealing with the pain of losing their loved one.
I'm just super upset that she's gone and she was taken so horribly. We just want answers and to understand what happened and why it happened.
Family members say that Martinez was living with her father until he was recently hospitalized, and then she was living in their home alone.
Now to changes involving our money. We saw the interest rate hike yesterday, making borrowing money more expensive. And as that number continues to go up, we saw another number fall today. New federal data showed a slump in the economy. The GDP, or the gross domestic product, dropped for the second quarter in a row. Local economists we spoke today say they believe we are already in a recession.
So far, at least, it's very mild. In the environment that's emerging now, it's better to be a saver than a spender or a debtor.
The White House insists the economy is only in what they're calling a transition, arguing unemployment numbers are low at 3.6%, with many companies still hiring. Still ahead, we go behind the kitchen door for one business and two of its locations, the differences between the two. It's next on the Nightbeat.
New tonight, one seafood restaurant and bar, two separate locations. Health inspectors say that both has some issues involving shrimp. The Night Team's Tim Gerber has the details in this week's Behind the Kitchen Door.
La Perla del Pacifico Sports Bar, located in the 2600 block of Northeast Loop 410, got a 76 on their most recent inspection. The inspector noted live pests in the kitchen and washing area. Cooks were seen handling ready-to-eat foods with bare hands. Another cook caught eating in the food prep area. There was no certified food manager on site, and there was shrimp thawing in a hand-washing sink near the cooks, and bottle caps and limes were being stored in the bar's hand-washing sink. A reinspection was ordered. Next up, La Perla del Pacifico Seafood and Grill in the 7900 block of Culebra. They came in with a score of 83. The inspector found at least 10 expired food handler certificates. Potentially hazardous foods, including raw shrimp, diced produce, and other raw fish, were not being properly cooled. The coolers where they were being stored were too warm. Workers set up ice baths to keep that food cold. There was also a bleach bottle found near to-go lids and bags, and unapproved pesticides were found inside the establishment. Finally, the 410 corner stop in the 2300 block of Loop 410 earned an 80. The inspector observed live and dead pests in a refrigerator that was holding cooked food. More evidence of pest activity was found in an area next to the kitchen. Cooks were not wearing required hair nets, and another cook was spotted touching ready-to-eat foods with bare hands. The inside of the ice machine was dirty, and there was a buildup of dust and dirt on the vents in the food prep area. That's what's behind the kitchen door this week. Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
All right, let's take things outside. Sky 12 over the San Antonio Zoo, where guess what? Tomorrow is $8 day, but you have to be a resident of Bexar County.
Yes, and it's a big promotion that they're doing. It's great. And this is actually the parking garage at the San Antonio Zoo. So you for $8, you'll get to see more than just the parking garage.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But it's a very nice parking garage. I will say that.
Especially at night, it's all lit up.
Yes.
Lovely.
It's one of the fewer only parking garages I know that's not really just an eyesore.
Exactly.
Right? It actually looks good along 281 there. All right, let's talk about this. 101, the updated high temperature, or 100 actually, is the high temperature for the day today. 100, this is the one that's the real high. 100, the high temperature for the day today. That makes it our 48th triple-digit day. We're still in third place, but we quickly keep chipping away at that record of 59 set back in 2009. All right, let's take a look at our forecast here. More triple-digit days, of course, on the way. You know the trend, you know the pattern, but we're going to be just barely 100, maybe even upper 90s. Tomorrow, all the way through the upcoming weekend. It's going to be 100, give or take a degree, and above average, but not really the record-challenging territory over the next few days. In terms of rain, we saw a few pop-up downpours east of town yesterday. Just a few isolated ones popped up again today. They were very limited. Better luck closer to Houston, actually, especially the west side of Houston and around the Katy area. They're drought stricken as well. They could use the rain. And you look all around us and, well, the rain is deflected around most of Texas. Just some of that sea breeze coastal activity closer to Houston, and then some action in the Panhandle. But by and large, we remain dry. And the newest drought monitor is in. 97% of the state is considered in drought. And you look locally here, we're in the worst categories. Exceptional drought throughout a good portion of the hill country, Highway 90 as well, and even southern Bexar County and northwestern Bexar County, otherwise surrounded by the extreme drought, the second worst drought category to be in. So how much rain would it take to actually pull us out of drought? And this is calculated over an extended period of time, from now through October. According to NOAA and the National Center for Environmental Research, it would take us here in San Antonio and these counties east of town about 22.5 inches of rain over that time period. You go west of town, parts of the hill country as well, over 19 inches of rain. And really the only way we could pull this off is with a few tropical systems moving in. So, I mean, the probability of us really easing off the drought by the end of October or into fall is less than 2% right now. Tomorrow we have a 20% chance of a few pop-up showers, just slightly better parameters and conditions in our atmosphere. So 20% chance, a few of them popping up here and there. Most of us dry, but a few fortunate communities could have a quick downpour tomorrow afternoon. 87 right now. That wind out of the southeast at 20 miles per hour, steady at 20. Gusting up to 25. John Paul was talking earlier in the newscast about that big fire. Yeah, that southeasterly breeze steady at 20 doesn't do those firefighters any favors, unfortunately. That'll pump the brakes, but not until after about 1, 2 a.m. Across the state, 80s, 90s for the most part. Some rain-cooled air up in parts of the Panhandle where it's in the upper 70s. 90 now in Uvalde, 87 San Antonio, New Braunfels, 86 degrees, and down to 82 now in Bernie, and 86 on the south side at Stinson. So tomorrow morning we start the day at 78, and then by the afternoon, 99 or just right near 100, give or take a degree or so, and that 20% chance. So by and large, dry, but you can still cross your fingers. There's a small glimmer of hope for a brief downpour tomorrow. Bulverde tomorrow 97, Hutto 101, Seguin 100, Elmendorf about 100 degrees. And temperatures aren't going to change all that much. Rain chances, they go up a little bit, but only to about 10% again as we get into next week. So they're there, they're just not ideal. New accessory today on this thermometer Thursday. Thank you.
Love it.
To the Maskills for passing this down to me from her grandfather. Thank you very much.
That is a classy thermometer tie clip right there.
Yes, it is. And it's accurate, too.
Awesome. And it's I just love that it's functional. Yes. Love that. All right. Thank you.
All right, let's go to California right now. And usually this is a time where you build your team up. You want people to be happy, on the same page. Not everyone that way in California at camp right now, Greg.
You know, especially your star tight end, which is really an essential part of this Cowboys offense. When we come back, we're talking about Dalton Schultz, how he's not a happy camper. We'll explain when we come back. And at the same time, the Wolf Hunter will join us on the Nightbeat.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our live coverage of the Dallas Cowboys training camp here in Oxnard, California. Day 2 in the books and no injuries. That is great news. Tight end Dalton Schultz has been with the Dallas Cowboys for the past 4 years. And you know how he knows that? Because his son Theodore turns 4 years old today, and that's why he's paying a visit to training camp today. Schultz left his first ever Cowboys training camp for the birth of his son, and now it's more cause for celebration today. What is not, Schultz did not get the long-term contract extension he was hoping for this offseason, instead settling for the franchise tag of $10.1 million. This was our first chance to ask him about it.
I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't disappointed. Obviously I think we all came into it thinking that, we'd be able to get a long-term deal done. And, that's something that, we pushed for. They were trying to push for as well. And, this will be the only time that I speak on it. But, just as I kind of, move past that, I think, I'm at peace with knowing that I put my absolute best foot forward.
Now, someone who knows a little bit of something about that is Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, who went through 2 franchise tags before agreeing to a 4-year, $160 million deal. One thing Dalton pointed out he noticed about quarterback Dak Prescott is that the velocity of his passes has increased. And during his first press conference at Cowboys camp today, Prescott agreed.
It's definitely different, and I just think it's the way that I've been training. As I mentioned in the spring, training more functional, a lot of the rotation work. Using my legs, just working on different arm angles, that being able to get the power in my throw, no matter which way or whatever the route is, whether it's an outbreaker, in-breaker, I've got to get it around somebody. Just a lot of work has been put into it, and it's starting to show.
Progress continues at UTSA as the Roadrunners officially broke ground on their $8 million, over 14,000 square foot Park West Fieldhouse that will serve as the home of the women's soccer, men's and women's track and field and cross country in a partnership with Bexar County. Judge Nelson Wolf also revealed there may be a shared baseball stadium in the future.
There's some effort underway to build one out here. There's 2 efforts underway. One to build one out here close to the campus, another one to build one downtown. And there's 2 different groups of business people working, and I'm not sure what will come of it. I think eventually, I may not be here, but I think, I hope I'll be alive, but I won't be in office after 5 months. So I think eventually something will come together.
All right, the Wolf Hunter next, coming up. Welcome back to the Night Beat. We're joined by the Wolf Hunter himself, Leighton Vander Esch, the Cowboys star linebacker. And first of all, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You have to be thrilled coming into this camp after what you were able to do last season. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. And I think just as the season went on, really, I was starting to get my stride through the end of the half of last season. So, this system is what I'm familiar with, and it's what I played ever since college.
Does that better defensive line also help in that regard?
Oh, yeah. You know it. I mean, they're playing fast and they're running around, and what they can do on that front is incredible.
Do you think the defense is better this year?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. We're already growing on what we had last year, so yeah, I think we're going to do some really good stuff this year.
Have you gotten used to are they called guarding covers on your helmets during practice?
I don't know if you can ever get used to those things, but they're there, and you just got to get used to it, I guess.
During the off season, what is your favorite thing to do?
Going home and getting some fresh air in Idaho and doing some fishing, and just enjoying the outdoors, really just decompressing, getting out of the city and going home to the peace and quiet.
That said, did you actually feed a fish to a bear?
Yep, I did.
And any particular reason why you decided to record that and put it on?
Because that's my life. I grew up around animals and wildlife and just being in the outdoors my whole life. So things like that don't scare me. People can judge and have their opinions on it, but I'm going to be me, and nobody's going to change me.
Were you afraid maybe you come back with not much
that
of your
was
hand?
The thing. So there's the little clip that I posted was only obviously like 10 seconds of what the whole experience was. Right. So there's a whole story behind that little bear, and I'm not going to get into it, but there's a reason we do what we do there.
You're a good man. So have a great season. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Leighton's nice enough to sign our camp board that will be used to help the Society of St. Vincent de Paul raise money, help feed the working poor and the homeless of Bexar County. Let's say we'll do it again tomorrow. Live from Oxnard, Greg Simmons, KSAT 12 Sports.
Let's just hope he doesn't feed the Chicago-style bear.
Oh,
let's hope that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Greg.
We'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for a part-time job? Well, the Alamo Dome looking to fill several positions. They're planning to hold a Dome Draft job fair in August. Jobs include box office attendants, security, concession stands, guest services. You can take a look at all the details right now on KSAT.com. Just click on the article.
And good luck.
And I want to show you here the Saharan dust, the Africa dust. It's going to be headed our way a little bit this weekend. Light amounts. I don't think you'll notice it all that much except for an extra light haze in the sky and a little bit of extra color to the sunrises and sunsets Saturday and Sunday. Then it really starts to disperse into next week. So just light amounts of dust and unfortunately minor rain chances. 20% tomorrow, 10% early next week.
All right, thank you. Well, that does it for the Night Beat. Don't forget that Good Morning San Antonio starts at 4:30.
Have a great night.